All right, guys, we are back with the third video in my 4-part series, the pros and cons of working for a big tech company versus working with a small startup. So the last 2 videos were all about the pros and cons of working with a big tech company. So now we are going to talk about startups, the wonderful world of small startups. So before I get into it, guys, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of new content. I'm posting new content here every week. You definitely don't want to miss it. And with that said, let's get right into our number 1 pro of working for a small startup. And that is that things move really, really fast. You guys are probably seeing a pattern by now if you've been watching all of the videos. Things move really fast at small companies because they're like little speedboats, right? A small amount of people, they're very, very agile. And that is really cool and fun and fulfilling if you are someone whose brain moves really, really fast and who likes a lot of dynamism in your everyday. If you like every day to feel differently, if you like to get things done quickly and move on to the next project, if you sort of like that really fast-paced rhythm to your work life, then you would love working at a small startup. This can be great, especially if you're someone that likes to implement ideas, create new processes and systems within the company, and you want to get those things implemented fast. I mean, you can have an idea right now, right? Pitch it to your boss on your phone call later today or via Slack right now, get a yes or a no and start working on it. All right, this is totally different from working at a big company where it could take months and months and months to get a clear answer on whether or not you can just try something small. That's not going to happen at a small startup. So yeah, this can be a huge pro, especially for younger folks, especially for someone who maybe is a little bit more junior in the role. How lightning fast things move can be a real pro. Okay, so the next pro of working for a small startup kind of goes hand in hand with the first one, how quickly things move. The second item is that there's more room for error and experimentation and creativity. I'm sure everybody's heard the cliche, move fast and break things. That's kind of how small startups operate. And it's true, right? The more chances that you take, the more, risks that you take, the more mistakes you're going to make and the more things you're going to break, right? But there's just more of a tolerance for that at a small startup because everybody's just trying to figure out what's going to work. You're literally throwing ideas at the wall and seeing which ones stick. And so there's a sort of interesting meritocracy there at a small startup that has a healthy culture, is that the best ideas just rise to the top, right? The things that work and the things that move the company forward just rise to the top and get noticed. And so because everybody's trying to figure out what's going to be the thing that works, you're often given quite a bit of leeway and quite a bit of autonomy to try new things. If there's a process that you think doesn't work all that well, typically your boss is like, change it, do something else. We don't care, right? There's more of a spirit of, it doesn't matter how you do it, just get it done. And if you are able to do it in a way that's maybe better than how we were doing it before, great. Share that with us, right? Let's try and optimize and do things as best we can. You don't have a lot of processes and systems in place, which is its own set of problems, but that creates a lot of opportunity for you to create your own systems and processes. There's some people that enjoy that, and there's some people that don't. I really do enjoy that. I like creating systems and sort of creating order out of chaos, and that is a big part of working for a small startup. Okay, so this next item is an often overlooked pro of working for a small startup, and that is that you oftentimes have direct access to your leadership, even senior leadership, up to your CEO. I mean, the small startups that I worked for, the teams were just so small that you would be having lunch with your CEO all the time. It just wasn't that, he was just a regular part of the team, or she was just a regular part of the team. It wasn't really that notable to get one-on-one time with your leadership. That's extremely rare as the company grows, and it's a huge con. I mean, in terms of just forging relationships that will help you in your current role, forging relationships that will help you on your career growth path or help you get future roles, it's huge, right? To be able to have that one-on-one time, be able to allow your leadership to get to know you as not just like as a cog in their machine, but as an actual person. who has thoughts and ideas. I mean, I'm laughing and making light of it, but that's honestly something that's super rare in larger companies. And it's just sort of a necessity of scaling a company. It's just not possible for leadership to have one-on-one FaceTime with all of the people that answer to them. At a startup, it's absolutely possible. So one thing I will say, if you do work for a small startup and yet your leadership is like curiously absent, you never see them, you never get time with them, they're not interested in getting to know any of the team, that's a red flag. Okay, so number 4, the number 4 pro of working at a small startup. This one sounds kind of corny, like a huge cliche, but it is true. You do often feel like you're making a real difference in the progress of the company. Often the company is so new and so young and so fresh that every little success that you have in your role is like an actual measurable success for the company. This is pretty much unheard of when you join a large company. You know, you could have many successes. You could do your job entirely right at a large company, and that really doesn't matter at all. It has no bearing on the trajectory of the company or its goals at all. At a small company, that's just not the case. The work that you do every day really does feel meaningful in that it is actually moving the company forward. You're actually helping to accomplish goals. That can be a really big motivating force, showing up to work every day. And, you know, when you're working every day, you definitely need motivating forces. So it can be great to work in a position that you feel like actually matters. You feel like when you're not around, or if you were to leave the company, they would definitely be missing out on something special in you. They would feel that loss. It can be good to feel that special and know that your place in the company is special. Again, something that is almost unheard of at large companies. Okay, guys, we have come to the number 1 pro of working at a small startup. This is the biggest one for me, and it is a huge potential for career growth. To me, this is absolutely the number 1 pro of choosing a small startup over a larger company. Your opportunity, again, it's not set in stone, but your opportunities to move up through the career ladder rapidly, to get multiple promotions over a short amount of time, that is almost unheard of at a large company. It happens all the time at small startups. If you're a high performer, if you're someone that really wants to prove yourself, wants to, increase the amount of money that you're making, increase the level of senior experience that you have, you can do that in just a much shorter, more condensed amount of time at a startup. There are so few people who work there, and I just discussed how every individual success is important to the company. You also, like I mentioned, get more face time with your leadership. There's just more opportunity for you to stand out and be noticed and to be recognized as like a unique creative talent. At a larger company, those chances are just few and far between. And so, especially if you are more junior in your career, not always, but if you are more junior in your career, a small startup can be a great choice to sort of make it to that more senior or managerial even level in just a shorter amount of time. Something that might take you 7 years at a really big company, you can accomplish in maybe 3 years at a small startup. That is not an exaggeration. I've seen some pretty incredible career climbs. And I think a lot of them are legitimate. I think that there are a lot of people out there who are really talented and very smart and skilled and competent, and they do have what it takes to manage teams. And there really is no reason to make them wait 7 years to get to that point. So if you are interested in career growth, especially rapid career growth, I would definitely consider a small startup. Again, there are cons. We will discuss that in the next video. But moving through your career really fast is a huge pro that really can't be overlooked. All right, guys, that's it for today. Look out for the next video. This is going to be the cons of working for a small startup. You should see that later this week or maybe next week, depending on when this goes up. Leave me a comment if you have experienced any of this stuff. Kind of tell me your own experience with these pros and cons. I would love to hear them. And other than that, I will see you in the next one.